Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's August 23rd. I'm actually just heading into town. Gotta pick up a few items at the store. But I wanted to make a short little video today because I got a question on my Strava. Oh gosh, it's been a couple of weeks ago now, maybe. One of the gentlemen that follows me on Strava, excuse me, a gentleman that follows me on Strava had asked me a question a couple of weeks ago. He wanted me to weigh in on a topic. I haven't really had much time to do so, but figured I'd do it today while I'm in the car heading into town. But anyways, he wanted me to weigh in on the topic of overtraining. Basically, he had mentioned, you know, that, of course, through following my rides on Strava, you know, he saw that I obviously do a lot of riding, put in, you know, a lot of hours per week, and you know, have been pretty consistent with that, and you know, continue to stay motivated. He was just kind of, you know, wanted my opinions on, you know, what I think of overtraining and kind of how I can get through so much volume on top of having a full-time job and everything, and still stay motivated and you know, seemingly can, you know, kind of continue to improve on the bicycle. But and so I wanted to just give you guys a couple of insights on my personal outlook on overtraining and some things that I think about the topic. Now, myself personally, and again, none of my information here is based on any kind of coaching or anything. I'm a self-coached athlete. I just try to make what I feel are sound training decisions, and I try to stick to my plans, and have had good results. But anyways, when it comes to overtraining, my personal outlook on that is that you know, it takes quite a bit to actually get into a state of being overtrained. Most of the time, when guys talk about being overtrained or feeling that they're in an overtrained condition, they're probably going through a period of overreaching, what's called overreaching, and not necessarily overtraining. I mean, you really have to, you know, really push yourself beyond the limits in order to, I feel, in order to get into an overtrained state. And I would almost argue that a person with a full-time job, or, you know, that really does much else in life, unless you're riding like 8-10 hours a day, I don't know as if you could even get into an overtrained state, honestly, unless you were just going out and just crushing yourself every day. So I think the vast majority of people certainly don't reach the overtrained state. And as far as getting to overtrained condition, I feel that when you get to either an overtrained state or a more common overreached state, it has more to do with guys doing too much intensity work. You know, you hear a lot of guys talking about their training, and, you know, these guys are, you know, they're racing, you know, crits once or twice a week, plus they're going out on a group ride in the weekend and crushing themselves, or maybe they're doing, you know, a race on the weekend, or, you know, but just in general, I feel that people that overtrain or overreach are just simply doing too much intensity work. Myself personally, I don't do a ton of intensity. In fact, this summer, since spring, I haven't done one set of intervals all season long. What I do is I do a lot of aerobic level riding, where I'm just basically doing endurance pace riding, and I'll go out for, you know, 5 to 8 hours. You know, quite often I ride, you know, a lot of hours, and I'm routinely putting in, you know, 4 to 7 hour days, you know, sometimes back to back to back, and, you know, but I'm doing just, you know, 90 to 95% of those rides are simply aerobic level riding. So I'm never really, you know, diving into those deep intensities very often. When I do this summer, it's either been in a race, which I've raced, you know, quite a bit this year. I haven't certainly had any, you know, exhaustive race schedule. So I've either, pretty much my high intensity work has either boiled down to either races, which is going to just come to you naturally. The high intensity just comes to you in a race scenario naturally when it does. Or in my own personal training, my intensity has revolved around going after KOMs on Strava. And those have been very, very infrequent, and certainly not an everyday thing. Basically the way I'm doing my training is I'm going out most days, riding endurance level riding, and when I feel capable, rested enough, and like I said, capable of going out and stealing a KOM that I want to go after, I go after it. And I go after it literally tooth and nail. I go after it as hard as I possibly can. And that's really all I've been doing for my intensity, is I've either been attacking some Strava KOMs here and there, or I've been in races. And barring those two scenarios, I've been just, basically aerobic aerobic endurance, doing a lot of aerobic endurance base, type riding. And I feel that's how I've been able to, put in the, 18 to 25 hour weeks, depending on my work schedule and stuff like that. I actually had a vacation week over the summer where I did like 31 hours. So, I've been doing a lot of riding, and, I'm approaching, I think I'm over like approaching 9,600 miles for the year right now. Again, I'm balancing that around a full-time job. And in fact, most weeks, that extends beyond a full-time job. So, that's just, a couple of, insights that I have on the topic. Again, it's a question I've gotten quite commonly, was, man, how do you get through week after week after week of, 20 plus hours of riding? Aren't you getting tired? Don't you get fatigued? You know what? Like I said, guys, the truth is, yeah, of course I get fatigued, but when I get fatigued, I'll just do, 2, 3, 4 days, whatever I have to do. I'll do a bunch of rides in a row where I'm just literally just kind of crawling around out there, doing like recovery rides. I've done 2 or 3 recovery rides in a row if I felt fatigued. So I just polarize my riding. I'm either riding, endurance level riding, or recovery riding if I need to, or I'm literally riding as hard as I can, whether it be attacking a Strava KOM or obviously in a race. You're typically riding, when the attacks go in a race, you're typically riding as hard as you can in order to hang in there. So that's all I do, guys. That's kind of how I train. That's really all I do. That's how I get around, the overtraining, or that's how I'm able to put in these long weeks, week after week after week. If you guys have any questions on this, drop them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them. Feel free to share your insights. How do you guys, approach your training? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Listen. This is the idea and the goal of these videos is to get a discussion going where everybody can kind of weigh in and we can all learn from each other. So feel free to to leave your comments and criticisms. I'm open to hear anything. If you have any questions specifically, drop them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. So I hope that answered Eric's question. He was the guy that asked me on my Strava. So I just wanted to weigh in on this a little bit. That's my basic concepts about overtraining. Again, guys, as you know, I appreciate the support of the channel, and as always, look forward to seeing you guys right back here in my next video.